Hello everyone, Madison here and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going through section 2 of the NPLQ manual. If you haven't watched last week's video, then you can either watch this video first, then that video. But if you really want to nail this down and sort out your NPLQ, I suggest you watch section 1 first, which was last week's video, then this video, and then I'm doing section 3 next week. And yeah, and another thing before I get into it, it doesn't have much to do about NPLQ, but as you may have seen by my Instagram, I have unfortunately quit dance, and it's taken me a while to think about it, but I have unfortunately quit dance after 12 years, and it may not seem a long time, but as a dancer, anything seems a long time. And well, that was for me anyway, so I don't know about you guys, but anyway, let's get on to today's video. So like I mentioned, I'm going through section 2 of the NPLQ Generation 9 Lifeguarding Manual. Well, Candidate Manual. Fancy. It looks like this. Again, if you're a different generation to... If you have a different generation book to mine, I think it's the same, and I think a few things may have just changed, but anyway, let's get into today's video. So section 2, like I mentioned last week, is about intervention, rescue and emergency action plan. So there's again 3 elements. Element 1, which is intervention and rescue. Element 2, rescue of a casualty with a suspected spinal injury. And element 3, emergency action plan. For me, this is the easiest section from that I personally think about it. Like in the theory side, when like you have to circle the answers, I always get like sort of full marks, if not space of full marks to 4 less marks than full marks, if that made any sense. So that's about what we'll cover. So element 1, intervention and rescue. So it will just cover about how important it is to have early intervention and good supervision about the pool to stop incidents from occurring. It will also go through like putting the casualty first, having teamwork, identifying an emergency. It's all everything in this manual again is quite important, but it's also very important that you keep looking over this manual even though you've already passed. And it's also important to take swimming pool surveys. If anyone asks me any questions on my Tell On Me or DM me anything, then I'll obviously do a NPLQ based question and answer. I'll then release it on YouTube and answering those questions as best as I can. Oh, excuse me. It'll also go over types of casualties. So again, you have responsive and unresponsive. So responsive, they may be able to help themselves, and unresponsive are unable to help themselves. So for instance, responsive, you either have a weak or a tired swimmer, or a swimmer with a minor injury or medical emergency, like a nosebleed. An unresponsive swimmer, is a panicking casualty, non-swimmer, injured swimmer, serious medical emergencies, panic-locked swimmers, unconscious casualty. And it also goes through responsive casualties in more depth, and then unresponsive. So a weak or tired swimmer, so a responsive casualty, they may be able to wave or call, respond to an instruction, cooperate with support that is offered, be able to rescue themselves, but they are likely to be at an angle in the water, and also have very limited forward motion. And an unresponsive swimmer, say for example, if they have an injury, depending on how severe the injury is or not, they might have an expression of pain in their face, be static in the water, but be able to attract attention and hold the body part that is affecting them. And the types of injuries may include cramps, bumps and bruises, bleeds, if that includes nosebleed, a strained muscle, head injury, or a dislocation. And as a drowning non-swimmer's priority is to breathe, they may be vertical in the water, not shout or call for help, have their head out of the water in the very early stages, bob up and down, take a gulp of air, then sink below surface, push down with their arms, resurface, then gasp for air with their head tilted back, sink again with their arms extended over their heads, repeat the sequence before sinking below water. And there's all different things you've got to look out for. There's swimmers with a medical emergency, which may be, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Laugh at me all you want. So it's an asthma attack, diabetic emergency, heart attack, stroke, and seizure. So that's what they could have as a medical emergency. So an unconscious casualty may be face down with arms and legs hanging limp, be totally limp, and at any point in the surface of the pool, between the surface of the pool and bottom. There's different lifeguarding entries. And for instance, there's sliding entry, step or walking entry, straddle entry, shallow dive, diving with a torpedo buoy. That's it. So sliding entry, people may be confused on where to use that. It's the same with step or walking entry. You use them if a casualty has a spinal injury. The only reason why you do that is because you create less water ripples, and therefore it's you have less of a chance to further injure the casualty if they have a suspected spinal injury. Straddle, shallow dive, and a dive in with a torpedo buoy can be used at a stage when, say, the lifeguard was at the deep end, they'll have to jump in and save a casualty. So there's also personal safety during a rescue, which is defensive block with a torpedo buoy, separating casualties, general principles of escape. The reason why you need to learn these is because some of the casualties you might get may sort of be violent and just cling on to you, and if they cling on to you and then stop swimming, then they're going to start sinking, taking you with them. It goes over like how to hold a torpedo buoy, and it goes over torpedo buoys, reaching poles, throw bags, and everything. It goes over types of rescues, so that's a pool-based rescue, reach and throw and rescue, reach and rescue, throw and rescue, in-water rescue, wading rescue, non-contact tow using a torpedo buoy, contact tows, support tows, arm, hip and under shoulder support tow, and all that. I'm not going to go over them because this video is probably about 5-10 minutes long, and I know I've been making half an hour long videos, but I'm going to leave that. And even though I touched up on it, I just get more questions sent in, and I don't think many people want to actually listen to it. So I'd rather have questions come in about it. So again, it goes over rescuing skills. So stuff like turning an unconscious casualty on the surface of the pool, recovering submerged casualties, feet first surface dive, head first surface dive, deep dive and rescue, swimming underwater, rescuing multiple casualties, and that's it for that little rescuing skills section. So it also goes over casualties, recovery and exits from the water. So that could be assisted walkout, pull ashore, stirrup lift, assisted lift, and supporting the stuff about supporting the casualty. And with supporting the casualty, I turn it around, it goes over, it has little diagrams to help. And then you have a rescue pathway. So they're all jumbled up, and that side you have to put in the right order. And it goes on practice questions. I know it's a bit messy. I'm a lefty and I smudge, especially in like books like this. Right, now we're on element 2. That was it. This is like my favourite section because it's nice, short and quite easy to pick up for that case. So this is rescue of a casualty with a suspected spinal injury. So we already talked about how you enter the water if they have a suspected spinal injury. So what we'll cover, like the basics of the spine, identifying a casualty who has a spinal injury, managing the casualty in the water, a casualty recovery using specialist rescue equipment, and basically this when you do this because you have to sort of train to do it, it takes loads of people. So if you're doing a rescue board, then you need to have obviously one person on the board, one person rescuing the casualty, and once one person's rescued the casualty, the other people need to put all their arms in underneath, because it has to be with your palms facing downwards, because then, like, if you're like this, your arm can't bend, but if you're like this, your arm can bend, you see? And it will go, so this part goes through the spine and the spinal cord. So it just tells you like a description of the spine. You may get this diagram, you may get a different one. It will go through the spinal cord and the nervous system. And again, there's a diagram here. It might be a very different one to yours. It also goes through recognising a potential spinal injury. So, severe impact could mean they dive and hit the bottom of the pool, sides of pool or another swimmer. Collision with another swimmer, like if they're using equipment or any acrobatics. Some equipment may increase the likelihood of a spinal injury due to the potential increase of the forces involved with each piece of specific equipment, such as inflatable flumes, diving boards or platforms. And the symptoms of it is so if someone has a spinal injury, the symptoms of it is lack of movement / power in one or more limbs, disorientation and bewilderment, numbness or tingling in the limbs, pain in the neck or back. So if they can, it's always trying to sort of communicate with the casualty. Like if they feel any numbness or tingling and all this. But a sign of a casualty with a suspected spinal injury could mean casualty floating face down in the water, unable to turn over, but this doesn't necessarily mean they are unconscious. Bruising or swelling at impacted area of head, neck or spine, deformity or irregularity of the spine, loss of muscle control or unconsciousness. Again, it goes through principles of casualty management, which means stabilizing the head, neck and upper spine and maintaining a horizontal position in that case. And it goes through incident management priorities. Again, rescuing techniques, which is a vice grip or a head splint. And again, if you want me to go through these, then please send me questions, either DMs or anything. Like I always mention, my links are down in the description below. And it goes through a removal of a casualty with a suspected spinal injury from water. So this part goes through the removal of a casualty using a rescue board. I'm pretty sure the reason why you guys are here is to find out about NPLQ, but this is a spinal board for everyone that doesn't know and may be interested. Yeah, and then it just, so this page, these 2 pages, and I'm not sure how many more. And this, I don't know if I just froze then or anything. And this page, goes through how to do it and all that. And if there's no rescue board to hand or anything, there's always this other way, which is called it's just literally a recovery when a rescue board is not available. That's what it's called anyway. It just goes through all them. It then goes through like the types of pool. You'll get a diagram like this. See what I mean by it's quick and easy. And then it goes on about securing the PXB on poolside, which is deck level pool. Then it goes through about all of it. And then again, revision questions. I promise you, this is the last little part. Element 3, Emergency Action Plan, EAP. And it's about, so it will cover an emergency action plan is a comprehensive document detailing what actions will be taken by all employees and foreseeable emergencies. So it's like filling out forms and everything, I think anyway. So it can be about incident management, overcrowding, disorderly behaviour, lost or found child, fire and evacuation procedures, lack of water clarity, bomb threat, lighting or power failure, structural component or equipment failure, serious injury to a member of public, a toxic gas emission or chemical spill, discovery of casualty in water, facial, blood or vomiting pool water contamination. And you never guess what? Finish that section, so therefore you get more revision questions. That's it. Anyway, today, guys. And again, sorry if I froze halfway through or anything, because that was my phone telling me I was on 20%. Cheers, phone. Yes, I still use my phone to record because I can't get a camera yet, but I am saving up for one. But you guys know what to do. That's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. So, you again, like I said, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe if you are new, and I shall catch you later. Bye.